Now to the other big story of the day, a shooting inside the gallery at Military Circle in Norfolk.
Family members of the victim just told us he's 17 and panicked shoppers scattered when they heard the shots. Witnesses say it all began with a fight between two groups outside Victoria's Secret. Police are questioning a number of suspects, and so far they have not told us if anyone faces charges. 10 on your side got this video on your right of people helping the victim shot in the leg. Lauren Compton talked to family of one of those men in custody.
But let's start with Jason Marks, who was the first reporter on the scene this afternoon. Jason, walk us through exactly what happened.
Well, Nicole, it had to be scary. There were a lot of people in the mall at the time, and if you were nearby when you heard those gunshots, everyone who heard that has their own story about the minutes right after that. But tonight, we hear what happened from the eyes of a child.
It was crazy, pretty much. That's what I can say. Crazy.
Those the words of 9-year-old Seth. He, his mom, and his dad were at Military Circle doing some last-minute Valentine's Day shopping. He and his dad, Scott, were in Bath and Body Works when they heard an unexpected noise.
About the time I paid for it, I heard a pow, a gunshot. And maybe about 3-4 seconds later, I heard a second gunshot.
Scott was right on. They were gunshots coming from one of the wings of the mall. We're told there was a big brawl between two groups. Somebody pulled out a gun and fired.
Well, the thoughts going through my head at the time was it someone just fighting? Did someone just lose their mind and come in and start blasting people, or what?
The mall was full of people. Scott and Seth say an employee inside Bath & Body jumped up to protect everyone in the store.
She quickly pressed a button and started closing the gate. Then I just ran to the back door, followed other people.
Motioning for people standing out in the open to come in. And she says, guys, out the back, out the back.
By the time they got outside, police were just arriving. Officers taped up that section of the mall to investigate, and we're told police arrested several people, including the man they believe pulled the trigger.
That was a long few seconds. That was very scary, obviously not knowing. I know I only heard 2 shots, but I mean, you never know.
It was a lot to take in, no matter what your age.
Pretty glad that we didn't get shot or nothing, but I'm still sad that somebody else got shot in the leg. Hopefully he's okay.
And tonight, that man who was shot is going to be okay. We're told he was taken to Norfolk General with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, as we mentioned, there are several suspects in custody. Police have not released their names or what charges they'll be facing. That's the latest here in Norfolk. Jason Marks, 10 on your side.
Our team coverage continues now with Lauren Compton. And Lauren, you talked with a woman who says her nephew is one of the men in police custody.
That's right, Nicole, and she tells me her nephew is just 17 years old. He came here to get a haircut with his 3-month-old daughter and his girlfriend and his friends, and he was approached by a group of guys. What happened next is at the middle of an investigation, but the aunt says she thinks she knows why this all went down. It's a scene no one wants their loved one to be involved in.
I just got a phone call saying that my nephew was in an incident at Military Circle Mall. That's the first phone call I got, because I got like 3 or 4.
When I heard that somebody got shot, okay, I couldn't breathe then, and I was just all upset.
Tawana Stovall and Deidre Long say their nephew came to the mall with his 3-month-old daughter and his girlfriend. He was also with his friend who brought his 1-month-old son and his girlfriend when they were approached by a group of guys.
They was just walking in the mall, and the guys came up to him and wanted to fight them. Daquan and his friend told the guys, no, we got our kids with us. They basically said, we don't care whether you got your kids with you or not, we gonna do this. And they hit my goddaughter, they punched her in the eye, and then they jumped on Daquan and his friend.
Police say during the brawl, one of the men took out a gun and started shooting, hitting one man. When Stovall got the news, she ran to the mall, only to find her nephew in handcuffs.
I went up there, the police had the whole mall, the whole area where it happened that taped off. And they had my nephew on the floor in custody, in handcuffs. And I asked them if I could speak to him, they wouldn't let me.
It's unclear who threw the first hit or why, but Stovall says her nephew knew the group of guys that approached him, and they had prior run-ins. They believe the fight started because Stovall's nephew stopped hanging out with the guys. Now Stovall and Long both worry that this run-in may not be their last.
It's not going to stop here, because this is not the first incident. That's my concern. This is not the first incident.
Now, Stovall and Long tell me those infants that were just caught in the middle of this whole thing are safe and fine tonight. Her nephew was questioned by police. He has since been released. Reporting live in Norfolk, Lauren Compton, 10 on your side.
Norfolk police make frequent trips to Military Circle. 10 on your side learned there were 800 calls for police service in the mall in the past 12 months. Most of the crimes were larceny, followed by disturbance and disorderly calls and assaults. And in the summer of 2004, you may recall the parking lot shootout. 2 police officers and 2 suspects went to the hospital. Many of the big department stores have left or are pulling out, like Sears and JCPenney. The property is owned by a company named Thor Equities based in New York, and it has office and retail space around the world.